Christoph Waltz is here. For 30 years, he worked as an actor, mostly in German television, with no major English-language credits to his name. Then along came Quentin Tarantino and his unconventional World War II film, Inglourious Basterds. Tarantino cast Waltz as Hans Landa, a multilingual Nazi colonel who considers himself a detective. Here is what I mean. Take a look.
So you're the Jew hunter. I'm a detective. A damn good detective. Finding people is my specialty, so naturally I worked for the Nazis finding people, and yes, some of them were Jews, but Jew hunter? Just a name that stuck.
Well, you do have to admit, it is catchy.
Do you control the nicknames your enemies bestow on you? Aldo the Apache and the Little Man?
The German's nickname for me is the Little Man.
And as if to make my point, I'm a little surprised how tall you were in real life. I mean, you're a little fellow, but not circus midget little.
He has already won the Best Actor prize at Cannes, a Golden Globe, as well as the Screen Actors Guild and Critics' Choice Award. He is also nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. I am pleased to have him here on this program this evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
You get a script. Tell me where your acting life was when you got this script from Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, you know, for the region, it was satisfyingly okay. For me as a person, it was frustratingly not okay. Meaning that you know, Germany is very much of a, or the German-speaking area. If you look outside the theater, because, you know, theater is really still very alive, and every bigger town has a subsidized theater. So I did theater for many, many years. In terms of movies, it's somewhat limited. So most of it is television. So not really all the time the most inspired television as such. So you know, you get reach a certain limit in terms of what you can sink your teeth in, and from then on it becomes a little tough.
How did you come to the attention of one of America's most prominent directors?
Yeah, that's a mystery.
It is a mystery?
In a way. I mean, it was, there's a casting director in Berlin, Simone Beer, and she does most of the international productions there, and she just got people together for Quentin to meet. Because Quentin, being Quentin, said, all right, these German parts will be played by German, or at least German-speaking, native-speaking actors, and the French part will be played by French, you know, and we will not do that usual blue contact lenses, bleached hair, funny accent business.
Yes.
And so I was one of the German actors to be invited to a casting.
And then you read the script.
And then, well, I kind of weighed the script in my hand at first.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, you know, heavy.
Yes.
And scribbled title page, you know, handwritten.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic, you know, because you get a feeling of Quentin as a person right away.
And then the audition.
And then the audition. First of all, you know, then I read the script, and that wasn't all that easy. And I reread it, and then the audition. And there, you know, you expect this zany, enfant terrible kind of wild guy.
Yeah, Mr. Tarantino.
Mr. Tarantino. So everything we know about Mr. Tarantino. And you get in the room, and there's this refined gentleman, immensely polite, and asks you to sit down and converses, you know, funnily inspired, and then asks whether you would mind to read. And I thought, are you kidding? But, you know, I said, well, no, actually, you know.
Quite prepared to read.
And he plays all the parts.
Yeah.
Except for the one that you're reading for. And you do, and we went through the whole script.
The whole script?
The whole script. I mean, the whole part.
Right. You're
yeah, exactly. The whole part. And then, you know, it was one thing led to another, and he was playing all the things, and I thought, well, that's remarkable. Why, I thought, is he sucking his thumb when he played the farmer? Because it was until I discovered he was playing pipe smoking.
Yes. So what you needed to know about this character was all there in the script.
Yeah, but not in my head at the audition, because there's so much in that script. I could still be working at it.
Could you really?
It really affords study. Really, bum cheek on chair, kind of sit and study what he means, what he hints at, where he's coming from, where it could lead you, and tiny little details give you this. You can play bloodhound for months on end and always discover something new. Really, when you watch the movie, you can watch it again. I've seen it 9 times now, and I still discover new things, and I really know the stuff.
New things about?
New things about, another level, another possibility, another facet, another twist, another thought, another inspiration, something that has escaped your attention before. And you can do that with all his movies.
What is it that you think you were able to accomplish in this performance?
I think my accomplishment could possibly, I don't know.
I just want you to help me understand. This is not for you to toot your horn.
Yeah, no. But I think I was really, really interested in what's behind the lines. There is so much in this person's mind, and he gets so much of it onto the page. I was just interested in finding out.
So what was in Quentin Tarantino's mind?
Well, the thing about language, for example. This guy speaks several languages. Okay, there are a few people in this world who speak several languages. There's
like you.
No, well, it's not such an accomplishment, really. But what does it mean to speak a language, and to what aim and what goals does a person employ the usage of language, and on what level does he communicate? Is it just verbalization of quotidian, necessities, or is he actually using language to put ideas into other people's minds? Is language like something that creates reality, or is language something that adapts to a reality? And I think Quentin, being a poet, uses language to create. So this character does the same thing.
It is almost as if you understood as much about Quentin Tarantino as you understood about the character, because the two come together.
Well, I don't know whether I understand it, but I certainly try to figure it out. And when I first got the script, I couldn't really make sense of it.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe the right approach for me would be to learn about Quentin, so learn about the source.
Yes.
So I really studied the movies.
You went, and chronologically too.
In chronological order, because a true artist that he is, but even possibly even lesser artists would be subjected to an organic development. And definitely, if you start with Reservoir Dogs, you can see that every movie is another development, another developmental phase in this person. So I arrived finally, after some effort, at Death Proof.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen, that was the only one that I hadn't seen before. So I watched Death Proof somewhat preoccupied, because I heard a lot about it. And interestingly enough, that's when it clicked. I kind of somehow
got it.
I got it. At least I had the feeling.
Yeah. Now you've said before that that even you utilized in this sort of some of the training you'd had with Stella Adler.
Yeah, I had the good fortune of attending classes with her, but not the acting classes, but the script interpretation.
Yes.
And I was one of the, if not the biggest impression in my training, and I claim that this was the most important thing in my training, because it taught me that approach. She said, An Enemy of the People by Ibsen, you start with the first word, Henrik Ibsen. That's where you start, before you open the script. So, yeah, in a way, it was invaluable advice with Quentin Tarantino, because I didn't start with Inglourious Basterds. I started with Quentin Tarantino.
Take a look. Here's another clip from this film, and we'll talk more about a remarkable performance. Here it is.
Veuillez m'excuser, j'ai oublié de commander la crème. Un instant. Attendez la crème. Alors, Emmanuel. Puis-je vous appeler Emmanuel? Oui. Et donc, Emmanuel, expliquez-moi, comment se fait-il qu'une jeune femme comme vous en arrive à posséder un cinéma? Après vous. Verdict. Comme je disais, pas si mauvais.
Give us an acting lesson. What did we see?
We saw, first of all, a good thing to go by is we see a man and a woman.
Yes.
So you got some energy right there.
Right.
We see a slightly older man and a slightly younger woman. So that gives that energy already a certain spin.
Right.
Knowing what was going on before, we know as an audience
Right.
that he knows something.
Yeah.
We know that she fears something.
So there's tension.
We know the power, the proportions of power. We know that he is the powerful one, and she might end up being a victim. She's not a victim yet. Are we about to witness a victimization? Are we about to witness, exercise of power? Well, we expect it, given the uniform and given her, appearance. Given the geographical circumstances. Yet that expectation does not materialize. It's sort of a social exchange, like, a gentleman and a lady in a cafe. So there's already, like a heap of stuff to work on as an actor.
Here is what Quentin Tarantino has said. If you had not accepted the role, he would have given serious thought as to what to do about the film. Because it's such a central role. He had a huge star in Brad Pitt and others. But the protagonist, the tension, somebody said great conflict is two characters.
Well, I can only say that's up to him to say.
Fair enough.
Nothing that I could possibly
So what did you
comment
learn
on.
from this?
From this, I
Yeah.
learned that everything was learning.
Yeah.
I learned, first of all, I relearned the enthusiasm and I hesitate to say it, but why should I hesitate? Love for my craft.
Exactly right. Speak to that, because I know that's the best thing.
And
what do you mean?
I mean, you cannot do this without, as Ray Bradbury put it, zest and gusto.
Yeah.
And that you can learn from Quentin. I was always trying to proceed with conviction, But conviction alone, you know, my conviction very often took me, you know, the wrong direction, sideways. Quentin's conviction is forward, but the zest and the gusto and the curiosity is without parallel.
We're going to see what he said about this next, what he said about the character. But when you read this script, when you got this part, when you began filming this performance, you said to yourself, this is why I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I said that to Quentin on the third day. I remember exactly up there in the hills next to the farmhouse, and I said, you know, and I'm grateful that you remind me of the reason why I have become an actor.
Let's show that scene first. Show the scene up in the hills. Here it is.
Now, if one were to determine what attribute the German people share with a beast, it would be the cunning and the predatory instinct of a hawk. But if one were to determine what attributes the Jews share with the beast, it would be that of the rat. If a rat were to walk in here right now as I'm talking, would you greet it with a source of your delicious milk?
Probably not.
I didn't think so. You don't like them. You don't really know why you don't like them. All you know is you find them repulsive. Consequently, a German soldier conducts a search of a house suspected of hiding Jews. Where does the hawk look? He looks in the barn, he looks in the attic, he looks in the cellar, he looks everywhere he would hide. But there's so many places it would never occur to a hawk to hide. However, the reason the Führers brought me off my Alps in Austria and placed me in French cow country today is because it does occur to me. Because I'm aware what tremendous feats human beings are capable of once they abandon dignity.
That's dramatic writing.
Dramatic writing. Yeah. Roll tape. This is Quentin Tarantino on this program earlier talking about writing this character. Here he is.
When I finished that script, I knew that Colonel Landa was one of the greatest characters I've ever written and one of the greatest characters I will ever write.
Hans Landa is played by Christoph Waltz, a German actor.
Yes, yeah.
A German actor who was not at the height of his career.
No. He's
He's
a TV actor in Germany.
And in fact, he said at Cannes, he basically, in a very emotional moment, said you had given back his career. Yeah. And you said something interesting too. You gave me my movie.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
I mean, that dialogue could hardly be written, could it?
Yeah, no. It's a thing. Like I was saying before, when I wrote that script, I just knew that Landa was, you know, I'm aware enough to know one of my best creations I've ever written, and he was one of them.
So he says one of the best creations he's ever written. You never said, though.
No.
You gave me back my career.
No, I didn't say that at all.
What did you say?
I said, you gave me back my vocation.
A very important difference.
Absolutely.
A vocation is what you do.
Yeah.
A career is what people...
A vocation is what you do if you're lucky, because, you know, you feel that call, but that does not necessarily mean that you actually get to fulfill that. But that's exactly what I mean, you know. Quentin gave me the chance to actually, you know, live that call. It's kind of highfalutin, but true.
But true. I mean, you feel it deeply here.
Absolutely.
Okay, roll tape. This is another part of the conversation because this is really interesting because we're talking about collaboration. Director, script, actor. Here it is.
Every scene he does is some version of an interrogation, and every piece of interrogation is a piece of theater. Or a mind game with the participant. I'll just give you an example. And there was also, it helps describe how me and Christoph worked on the film. Just to give you an idea, in the script, in the opening scene, when he's interrogating this French farmer, the French farmer takes out a pipe and starts smoking it. And at some point, Landa says, hey, can I take out my pipe? And he goes, yes. And he pulls out this big, giant calabash, you know, which is the pipe that Sherlock Holmes smokes. And it's a very funny moment when it happens.
And he drinks milk.
Yeah, and he drinks the farmer's, he's a dairy farmer, so he drinks his milk as opposed to wine. But he has this pipe. And so I wrote that in the script, and then I actually had a couple of more moments where I had Londa take out the pipe and, like, you know, smoke and think. And so it was Londa's pipe. But I started thinking about it more and more as pre-production was going on, and I had dinner with Christoph, and I asked him, I go, let me ask you a question. In the script, you know, it implies that this is definitely Londa's pipe, and he uses it to think. But let me ask you a question. What if Londa doesn't smoke a pipe? He knows the farmer smokes a pipe. And so at a certain point, he brings out this pipe. And what pipe does he bring out? He brings out the Sherlock Holmes pipe. One, you can say it's a sexual thing because my pipe's bigger than yours. All right. And the other thing, you can say, I know you're lying and I got you. I've got the Sherlock Holmes pipe. You know, so maybe he doesn't smoke a pipe at all. It's simply just an interrogation technique to throw the farmer, you know, send him more to hell. And I so what do you think, Christoph? He goes, no, he doesn't smoke a pipe at all. It is simply an act of theater.
This had to be fun, didn't it?
I love this man.
Yeah. So it changed what? I mean, so here you have received all of this acclaim. It's renewed your faith in your vocation.
I know, and I was getting comfortable with. Well, that would be a bit harsh to say, but you know, I almost said I was getting comfortable with resignation.
Acceptance?
Well, no.
No, never acceptance.
No, you know, like edging towards bitterness, but still being stubborn enough to hang on. Yeah. And you know, Quentin sort of plucked me out of that. He plucked me out of negativity. You know, he plucked me out of sort of self-pitying. He plucked me out of feeling victimized. You know, all these self-indulgent actor things that you know, drive some of us into alcoholism, but there was no danger for me, thank God. You know, but you know, becoming an actor is one thing, and being an actor another, and living the life of an actor yet another, and making a living yet another aspect of the same thing. And why would it be in acting? Why would it be different from any other thing? You know, it's you enter with conviction and zest and gusto, and only very, very few are granted to sustain that. So I was trying to find outlets. You know, I was trying to do this and that, and sort of, you know, trying not to really go over the edge and really become bitter. You know, in the course of 30-some years, things accumulate. It's natural, and it's self-evident in a way.
We're all glad you did. That you met Quentin Tarantino, that you had a chance to show remarkable everything. I mean, it's just an amazing performance, and I'm not the first to say that, but I thank you for coming to this table.
Thanks very much.
Christoph Waltz, nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in Inglourious Basterds. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.